Just the facts, please. Join Between the Facts podcast. They explore the life and death and conspiracies surrounding notable figures whose stories have captivated the public imagination. The deaths of Kurt Cobain, John Lennon, Tupac Shakur, and more are all explored here. So listen to Between the Facts podcast, another podcast brought to you by the You Run Podcast Network.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Pizza Bones, a production of the You Gonna Eat That Crust podcast. Proud members of the You Run Podcast Network. We can find all our shows and all the other awesome shows at yourunpodcast.com. I am your host, Greg Hoey, and with me, my co-host of Pizza Bones, Mr. Nate Harvey. How you doing, Nate?
Hey, I am doing good. I'm glad we finally get to jump back into this.
Yeah, getting a little bloody again.
Getting a little bloody.
Hopefully the audience can eat this one up.
Oh, but
So today we are diving into one of the darkest, weirdest, and most uncomfortable corners of the true crime universe. Talking about the life and crimes of Mr. Jeffery Dahmer.
What do they call him? The Wisconsin?
The Milwaukee
Cannibal? That's it.
Yeah, the dude with a freezer full of human body parts and a polite smile. The walking, talking horror movie that somehow managed to pass as your awkward, quiet neighbor until police opened his fridge and found a severed head chilling next to the mustard. Smuggler. This episode is going to be long, grim, sometimes funny in that, am I allowed to laugh at this kind of way, and absolutely packed with social commentary. Because Dahmer's story isn't just about murder, it's about mental health, sexuality, race, addiction, failure of the systems, media ethics, and how sometimes the monsters we fear look kind of average. And before we go any further, yes, we're about to talk about cannibalism, the drill, the cops that literally handed a 14-year-old back to a serial killer, and the horrifying shrine of skulls he was building like it was a DIY Pinterest project. So, yes, if you guys haven't discovered, we're obviously discussing Milwaukee cannibal Jeffery Dahmer.
Jeffrey Dahmer.
It's a crazy one. I think in the true crime world, if you're into true crime, everybody knows about Jeffrey Dahmer. I mean, I remember when he got popped in 92. It's all everybody talked about. There was jokes, there was insane shit people talked about, but we're going to get into it.
Did you ever watch the movie The Ringer with Johnny Knoxville?
I did, yes.
His name was Jeffrey Dahmer as well.
Yep, that's right. Good movie, The Ringer. Check that out.
Check it out.
So we start off, Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer was born May 21st, 1960 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. His dad, Lionel, was a chemist. His mom, Joyce, was a teletype instructor and a walking cocktail of mental illness, pill addiction, and emotional instability. On paper, the Dahmers looked normal, suburban white middle-class family, but behind the walls, it was all chaos. Constant fighting, emotional neglect, zero connection, and little Jeff, he got lost right in it. At age 4, Dahmer had a double hernia surgery. Afterwards, he was never the same. Withdrawn, blank, detached, whether it was the pain, the trauma, or just biology flipping a switch, something changed. By the time he was 10, Jeff was collecting dead animals. Roadkill, bones. He stored them in jars, dismembered them in the woods. His dad, trying to be supportive, showed him how to bleach bones. It was a great bonding activity.
Oh, yeah. Here. Come put these bones in this bottle of bleach here. See what happens.
So puberty hits. Dahmer realizes he's gay. This is in the 1970s in Ohio, so not exactly Pride Central.
No.
He doesn't tell anyone, no friends, no outlet, just fantasy. And his fantasies, they're not romantic. They're about control, dominance, having someone unconscious completely his, like a human action figure that doesn't talk back. He even hid in the bushes with a bat one day, waiting for a jogger he fantasized about going after. He was going to knock him out, but luckily the jogger never showed. Yeah, that guy would jog by his house every day, and he was obsessed with fantasizing about him. And then the one day he decided he was going to go after him with a bat, the jogger just never showed up. So
Right? Isn't that wild?
it
I
is.
wonder if he just actually had cold feet.
Who, the jogger?
No, his feet were warm because he was running.
That's true.
No, if Dahmer, if he just kind of made that up, he's like,
Right, yeah. So meanwhile, Jeff starts drinking, like a lot, in high school, in class, vodka and thermoses. I know he was a big fan of scotch.
Mm-hmm.
He would just sit there with a glass full of scotch. His classmates call it doing a Dahmer.
Doing a Dahmer.
He's a walking red flag with a pulse. Then comes 1978. Dahmer's 18. His parents divorce. His mom leaves with his brother David. His dad moves out. And Jeff left completely alone in the house.
Home
All
alone,
the fantasies.
Huh?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What could possibly go wrong?
Did you know that the parents let him name the kid? His brother?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No.
He
What do you name him?
Ham Hawk.
Ham Hawk.
No, he named him David.
David. Okay. I like Ham Hawk better.
Yeah, I'm sure he does as well, too.
Ham Hawk Dahmer.
June 18th, 1978. Just 3 weeks after high school graduation, Jeffrey Dahmer, 18 years old, alone in the house after his parents' explosive divorce. No school, no friends, no accountability. Just booze, porn, and the fantasies he's been rehearsing in his head for years.
Oh, yeah.
He's driving around near Bath, Ohio, when he spots Stephen Mark Hicks, also 18, hitchhiking to a rock concert. Long hair, good vibes, shirtless, and cut-off jeans.
Ooh.
Dahmer pulls over and offers him a ride, and Hick agrees. They stop at Dahmer's house for a few beers, but Jeff has no intention of letting Stephen leave. They hang out, drink some beers, listen to some music. It seems casual. Hicks is polite, friendly, eventually says, "Hey, I should probably get going."
Probably. Or at least get to my concert.
Right? And Jeffrey Dahmer loved the torso. That was his favorite thing. He loved a dude's chest.
Chest guy.
So, "I should get going," that phrase, that's the trigger. So Dahmer panics. He doesn't want him to leave. Can't stand the idea of abandonment. So he walks up behind Hicks, dumbbell in hand, and brings it down on his head.
Crash.
So they kind of had a little wrestling match or whatever, but eventually Dahmer strangles him.
And that was his primary motive of killing, right? It was strangulation?
Yes, yep. Afterwards, he masturbates on the corpse.
Yeah.
Not out of lust, but possession. Control. Hicks can't leave now.
Nope.
The next day, he begins the grisly task of dismembering the body. In the basement, Dahmer slices off the flesh, dissolves parts in acid, and pulverizes the bones with a sledgehammer. The remains are scattered behind the house, a burial by convenience, not grief.
And this is his first kill?
This is his first, yep.
Okay. All right. And he buried this one, right?
Yes. Yeah, but
shallow.
He dissolves some of the parts in acid, he pulverizes the bones. That would be a thing where he comes back and does all the time.
Yeah. Nice.
So no one suspects a thing. When police come by to question him, Dahmer lies effortlessly. "Yeah, I gave him a ride, but I dropped him off down the road." They believe him, no warrant, no body, no follow-up. So Stephen Hicks becomes the first entry in the case file that won't be cracked for another 13 years.
Dun, dun, dun.
So after his brief disastrous stints at college and the military, Dahmer lands in Milwaukee in 1981. He's got no job, no direction, no friends, no supervision. So he moves in with the one person still willing to help him, his grandmother. She lives in a modest house in West Allis, Wisconsin. She's a sweet woman, churchgoer, old-fashioned, absolutely not the kind of person who would knowingly share her home with a serial killer in progress.
No? That wasn't a description of her Craigslist ad?
Yeah,
Her
right?
roommate?
Now, Jeffrey, So at first, Jeff tries to behave. He goes to church with her. He gets a job at a local blood plasma center, which is kind of weird because he was very scared of blood in the military, even though he was a medic in the military. I think he was scared of the blood because he didn't want to relive the Stephen Hicks incident.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to kind of bury that.
Yeah. Speaking of blood, do you know how many pints of blood he would have spilled for all 17 victims?
I don't. Do you?
Of course I do. 204 pints.
Holy shit, that's a lot of blood.
Yep. And you know what? If you took all their blood vessels and arteries and veins, you'd have 1,700,000 miles. So that could circle the globe 42 and a half times.
That's Richard Chase's fucking dream right there, the Sacramento Vampire.
Yeah. Perfect.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that dude drank a baby, so.
A full baby.
He drank a full baby.
Yikes.
But Jeff's urges were growing stronger.
Mm-hmm.
In 1985, he's frequenting local gay bathhouses, not for sex, but for control. He begins drugging men so he can lie next to them while they're unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want to interact. He just wants bodies that don't move.
All right. More control.
Eventually, he's banned from several establishments for knocking men out with sleeping pills.
That'll get you kicked out.
So he switches locations, rents hotel rooms, starts luring people there. And in 1987, he crosses the line again. Stephen Toomey, 24. Dahmer meets him at a bar and invites him to the hotel. Later, Dahmer claims he woke up next to a dead body with no memory of what happened.
I have no idea what happened. He's just dead.
So he stuffs the body in a suitcase, takes it to Grandma's basement, dismembers it, and disposes it piece by piece. He keeps Toomey's skull, cleaned it, bleached it, and admired it.
I mean, if you're gonna do it, I mean, it might as well be at your grandma's house. I mean,
right?
Hearing, yeah. I mean, your odds of getting caught are way less now.
Grandma, no! Yeah, like this guy's chest was caved in, and it's like so he like blacked out and woke up in a rage. That's one thing about Jeffrey Dahmer. He always had to get blackout drunk to kill his victims.
Right.
I think he might have killed one dude sober.
I wonder what the difference was, between his sober kill and his drunken rage kills.
Yep. This guy is very intelligent as well, so he's able to talk his way out of a lot of things. After Stephen Toomey, it doesn't stop there. James Doctator, 14 years old, lured with a promise of $50 for nude photos. He was murdered in the basement. Richard Guerrero, 22, drugged and strangled. His body dissected. Dahmer keeps the skull.
Now, didn't he paint the skulls too?
Yes, occasionally, yeah. He would paint them gray, and his reasoning for that was if the cops came and questioned him, he'd be like, no, this is a plastic skull.
Ah, all right. The paint's peeling there,
yeah.
Jeffrey.
Anthony Sears, 24. This one hits differently for Dahmer. He tells police later that Sears was too attractive to discard. He preserves Sears' head and genitals, storing them in a box, which he later takes with him when he moves out.
Yeah.
Yes, he brings his body parts where he goes. When he's eventually working at the chocolate factory, he was like storing a head in a penis in his locker in the chocolate factory.
What is up with these chocolatiers?
Right? Dean Coral.
There's a lot of similarities in all of these cases.
Right?
You know?
So yeah, Anthony Sears, he said he was too attractive to discard. Like there's eventually he comes across a guy who was too ugly to fuck. And of course, all this is happening in Grandma's house. And Grandma, she's noticing the strange smells, the locked doors, the visitors who never stay too long, the late night noises from the basement. She doesn't know what's going on.
Did she ever find his mannequin doll he stole?
She does. He stole a mannequin, and this is before I think he even started bringing actual people there. She found his mannequin and made him get rid of it.
Yeah. What a disgusting creature he is.
Yes. So eventually, after multiple complaints from neighbors and growing discomfort, she tells Jeff he needs to move out. And so in 1988, Dahmer gets his own place for the first time in years.
Nice.
He's got privacy, which means he has no restraints, and things are about to get much worse.
He's home alone again.
The North 25th Street Nightmare. In 1990, Dahmer moves into apartment 213 at the Oxford Apartments, a nondescript low-income building in Milwaukee's West Side. This place isn't flashy. Nobody really pays attention to the neighbors, which is exactly what Jeff wants. And this is like pretty much the all-black neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
This is where everything accelerates. From 90 to 91, Dahmer kills 12 more men.
Jeez.
And it's a one-bedroom apartment.
Oh, God.
His victims were mostly young, gay men of color, and some were homeless. Mm-hmm. Some were college students. Some just thought they were going to get a few bucks and a drink. Many were last seen alive walking into that apartment. So here are just a few of their names. Ernest Miller, 22, a dancer who dreamed of fame. David Thomas, 23, he was a father. Curtis Strotter, 18, studying to be a model. I don't know, how do you study to be a model?
I was just going to ask you. Well, you got to do the jaw thing. You got to, like, suck your cheeks in.
Yeah. You got to watch Zoolander.
Exactly. That's all the course is, actually.
Errol Lindsay. So this is the first victim that Dahmer tried to zombify.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Drilling the hole in his skull.
Yep. So he would drill a hole in the skull, and he would pour acid in their skull. And Errol Lindsay just basically like woke up and said, I have a headache. What time is it? And then proceeded to walk around and just died.
Yep. Yeah. That's wild. Ugh.
Yep. Tony Hughes, 31, was deaf and mute. They concentrated on him on the show Monster a lot. Okay. He's fairly... Did you see Monster?
I did. It's been a while. That was a couple years back there. Good show.
And one of the most famous one, Conorak Since the Phone.
Yeah, say that 3 times fast.
Right? 14, a tragic repeat encounter. His brother actually was assaulted by Dahmer like early on before Jeffrey started killing. Maybe after his first kill, like I said, the hitchhiker, but he assaulted this kid's brother and let him go, and he just stumbled back. And I think the parents brought him to the hospital, but nothing ever happened. And I think Jeff was questioned. He might actually got popped because Jeffrey Dahmer was a registered sex offender, and I want to say that Conorak Since the Phone's brother is the reason that was the case.
Yeah, he was arrested for indecent exposure in 1982.
Yep, he would masturbate in front of kids. He would masturbate in public.
Yeah.
So Jeff lured the victims in with promises for money, photos, beer, a chill place to hang. He drugged them, strangled them, and then he got methodical.
Mm-hmm.
He posed the bodies, took Polaroids at every stage of dismemberment. He skinned torsos, kept hearts in Tupperware, froze heads, stored biceps and thighs like leftovers, and yes, he ate them.
Yum.
I know he tried to cook a skull once as well, too, and it exploded in the stove. Like he was trying to dry it out.
He had it in the freezer for a long time, and then when he put it in the stove, it had to do with like the moisture in it or whatever, and it just exploded.
Damn, he must have been pissed about that.
Right. That's my favorite skull! I haven't painted it yet.
He told police later it was about keeping them close, that eating them made them a part of him. It was control, possession. So we talked about him trying to make zombies.
Yeah.
He really wanted to have a sex slave that would never leave. So, like I said, he drilled holes in his victims' skulls while they were alive and poured hydraulic acid or boiling water. It didn't work. They all died horribly.
You think?
I think I said that the guy with the acid said his head hurt, but I'm pretty sure that was the guy with boiling water. Like, he just woke up and was like, my head hurt. What time is it? And then just died.
Oof.
So neighbors complained about the smell, the noise. One woman even saw a naked, drugged, bleeding 14-year-old boy running from the building. She called the police. They arrived, talked to Dahmer, who said it was just a lover's spat, and handed the boy back. So the cops basically were like, ew, icky, gay stuff, get out of here. And that was the Conorak Since the Phone, who was dead within the hour.
And they weren't just like, well, he is 14. We should probably,
Yeah, he was bleeding from the anus. Like, the fucking cops didn't do anything.
Right.
He went out to get beer. He ran out of beer, and he left. And that's when the kid woke up and stumbled outside. And the girls found him, called 911.
Yeah.
And he was just basically like, no, that's my boyfriend, blah, blah, blah. And the cops were like, yep, sure, sounds good.
Yeah. And didn't they go into his apartment, too? And they didn't check anything. They were just blinded.
They went up there with him. I don't think they went in yet, though. They do eventually go in.
Yeah.
And we're about to get to that.
Oh, yay.
So, July 22nd, 1991. Enter Tracy Edwards, 32 years old. He's approached by Dahmer at the mall. Jeff offers him $100 to come back to his apartment,
It's
have
a
a few
little old
drinks.
for him.
Right? Very old for him.
Yeah.
But he offers him $100 to come back to his apartment, have a few drinks, take some photos. He had friends with him as well, too. So Dahmer invited Tracy's friends with him. At least this is coming from Tracy. And Tracy's not a very reliable source because he's changed the story multiple times where Jeffrey Dahmer has been pretty straight up with telling the truth. Like, I don't think Jeff's really lying.
Right.
He said that his friends were given a different address, so that's why his friends didn't show up. He basically didn't want to admit he was gay.
So give him a different spot, and then he went and did his little gay thing. All right.
So, like I said, he offers him $100 for photos, and Tracy agrees. So they head back to apartment 213, and from the jump, Edward knows something is off. The apartment reeks, not just bad, but death bad. There are knives everywhere. A blue 57-gallon drum sits in the corner. And The Exorcist 3 is playing on loop.
One of his favorite movies.
Yes, he loved the Exorcist series. So then Dahmer casually slaps a handcuff on one of Tracy's wrists. Tracy laughs it off nervously like, haha, okay, dude, kinky. But then Jeff pulls out a knife and says he's going to eat his heart.
Oof.
And that's not really a metaphor. That's not a threat. That's his plan.
He's literally going to do it.
This is from Tracy, again, like Jeff said none of this happened. So Edwards keeps his cool. He talks to Dahmer, compliments him, says he won't run. He waits, watches, gauges. And when he sees his chance, he decks Dahmer in the face and runs like hell. I mean, he's handcuffed. So he's handcuffed. He's terrified. He flags down 2 Milwaukee police officers on the street. He says, that guy tried to kill me. The officers, to their credit, believe him this time.
Yeah.
They follow him back to the apartment, and Dahmer lets them in. Kind of laughs a little, acts like it's all just a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if Jeffrey Dahmer could produce the key, they were just looking for the key. And at first, Edwards just wanted the key. He didn't even want, to press charges. He just wanted to get the key and get the fuck out of there.
Right. But the key was...
He didn't have the key.
Because it was in his bedroom?
Maybe. So both officers step into the apartment, and one officer steps into the bedroom, and Jeffrey tries to jump in front of him, and the guy's like, hey, come on, let's go. Get it, let him do his thing. So he notices an open drawer, and inside there's a bunch of Polaroids, dozens of them. Bodies in various stages of poses, and he starts flipping through them, and he sees bodies in various stages of dismemberment. Some pose like mannequins, some mid-dissolved. One officer looks around the room and realizes these were taken right here. We're in this apartment. These are where these pictures were taken. Then they open the fridge, and inside is a human head, fresh, wide-eyed, staring right back at him.
Ooh. Imagine that.
So they say, hey, freeze. You stay there. In the freezer, they find 2 human hearts, basically wrapped like leftovers, a bicep, internal organs, labeled Ziploc bags, and then the big blue drum, where they find 3 torsos dissolving in acid.
Oof. That must have smelled so bad.
Right? They also find boxes of tools, knives, a hypodermic needle kit, formaldehyde, jars of genitals, and a full-color sketch of the altar Dahmer had been planning. A shrine made of skulls, candles, and bone fragments, arranged like a satanic IKEA table display.
It's too bad he never got to build.
Yeah, he would. You got to have dreams, and his dream was to have a huge altar. He just wanted to jerk off on this altar of bones.
Well, yeah. I mean, come on, wouldn't you? You've made it that far.
Yeah. So the scene is so gruesome that seasoned officers ran out to vomit. Officers just stood in silence. Dahmer, meanwhile, calm, cooperative, almost relieved. He said, I quote, "For what I did, I should be dead." And just like that, the world finally finds out about what's happening inside apartment 213.
Just wild. Ugh.
The arrest was just the beginning. What followed was one of the most disturbing, surreal, and darkly fascinating trials in American criminal history. Jeffrey Dahmer didn't run. He didn't hide. He didn't even lawyer up in a panic. He confessed in a chilling, flat detail to 17 murders. Gave dates, methods, names. He told them what he kept, what he photographed, what he ate. He even guided investigators to the apartment like a grotesque museum. This is the barrel where I kept the torsos. That's the fridge with the heart. And then came the blueprints.
Mm-hmm.
So he wasn't just collecting body parts for shock value. He was building something. An altar. Police found drawings, precise sketches. There's going to be a black table surrounded by candles, adorned with skulls and bones, and framed with black drapes. He said he would sit before it and meditate, draw power, relive the fantasy. It was necrophilic spirituality, not something you see every day.
No, it's not.
In 1992, Dahmer pled guilty, but insane. That triggered a psychological showdown, a parade of mental health experts. The defense argued he was suffering from borderline personality disorder, necrophilia, societal disorder, and deeply rooted abandonment trauma. He killed because he didn't want to be left, that he mutilated to control, that he ate body parts to keep his victims with him forever.
Now, do you think he did it like full Hannibal style, where it was like, nice fancy meal, candles, and Chardonnay, and
not a chance. He was probably drinking it with like high C ecto cooler. I just actually read Hannibal, Red Dragon, and the Silence of the Lambs, and when Hannibal eats, I mean, he's like, he knows what pairs well with the thigh.
Oh, exactly. Exactly. Now, they say human flesh is the most comparable to
Pig.
ham.
Yep.
Pig, yeah.
Yep. We're probably delicious.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't deter me at all. I'm like, I'm surprised there's not more cannibals then.
Right? It always takes me back to that Always Sunny in Philadelphia episode where, like, Frank's character is, like, hiding his meat from Charlie and Dee, and they keep on breaking it and eating it. He's like, aha! He's like, I fed you human meat. And they think they're, like, cannibals and shit, but it was actually just, it was, like, raccoon meat that had, like, parasites in it or whatever. They just had, like, tapeworms or they were just fucking sick.
That's awesome. It's perfect.
So, obviously, the prosecution, they weren't buying it. They said Dahmer was twisted for sure, but totally sane. He planned his murders, cleaned up the evidence, lied to police, hid bodies, bought tools, modified his methods. None of this screams delusion. That's basically calculated evil.
Yep, 100%.
One prosecutor put it simply, Jeffrey Dahmer is not psychotic. He is just evil. And the jury agreed. Verdict?
Guilty.
Sane and guilty. Jeffrey Dahmer received 16 life terms, 941 years in prison. No possibility of parole. Even the judge said, I know I'll be dead long before you are eligible for release. And yet prison was not the quiet, forgotten end. Because Dahmer, he became more famous after being caught. He got fan mail, marriage proposals, people sent him money, inmates asked for autographs. The public was morbidly obsessed. And Dahmer leaned right into it. Cracking jokes, making morbid comments in the cafeteria, even shaping his food into fake body parts just to get a rise out of people.
Yeah, didn't he use like ketchup as blood? And...
Yeah. He was also a class clown. Like, people think he was, like, not popular in high school, but he was basically just drunk through high school. Like, this kid would drink constantly.
Mm-hmm. Doing the Dahmer.
Yep, doing the Dahmer. He also, wait for it, found God. Got baptized in prison during a solar eclipse on the same day John Wayne Gacy was executed.
Ooh.
The day the clown cried. But not everyone found his jailhouse conversation cute, and not everyone in prison was entertained. Dahmer's prison sentence was supposed to be the ultimate consequence. 16 life terms, 941 years, but in reality, he just served over 2. He was transferred to the Columbia Correctional Institution in Portage, Wisconsin. At first, he was kept in isolation for his own safety, but eventually he requested to be moved into the general population. He claimed he found God, He read the Bible daily, got baptized in prison. Some people were hopeful that prison would be a time of reflection, but Dahmer, he wasn't exactly remorseful. He joked with guards, made cannibalism puns, and other inmates didn't find him so funny. Enter Christopher Scarver, a fellow inmate, convicted murderer, diagnosed with schizophrenia, deeply religious. On November 28, 1994, Dahmer, Scarver, and another inmate named Jesse Anderson were assigned to clean the prison gymnasium. They were left unsupervised. No guards, no cameras, just brooms, mops, and an opportunity. So when the guards returned, they found Dahmer lying in a pool of blood, bludgeoned with a 20-inch metal bar. His skull was crushed. Scarver had also killed Jesse Anderson. When asked why, Scarver reportedly said that God told him to do it, that Dahmer showed no remorse, that he mocked the families of the victims. In later interviews, he claimed Dahmer would taunt other inmates with ketchup packets pretending it was blood. Just like you said.
Oh, yeah.
There was also a huge rumor that Jeffrey Dahmer got killed with a broomstick up his ass. I don't know if you've heard that.
I did not hear that.
When I was younger, that was like the fact. Like, that was fact. But that was totally not true. He got his fucking face caved in.
Yeah, with a metal bar.
Yes,
from the
exactly.
gym.
So some people called it calmer. Others called it closure.
That's clever. I like that.
Some, even among the victims' families, called it justice. But not everyone agreed. Dahmer's father, Lionel, said it was inevitable. His mother said it was murder, plain and simple. She wanted people to stop glorifying her son's crimes and remember he was mentally ill. Either way, Jeffrey Dahmer's story ended the way it began, brutally. Alone, a man who craved control, silenced forever by a man who refused to be manipulated.
Did you ever read more into his dad, Lionel, at all?
Yeah, he's a fucking idiot.
I was picking up Dexter vibes in that. Like, it seemed like the dad was like, oh, yeah, I used to do this as a child. I used to have this dark passage or whatever. And I don't know. It just felt like there was more to Lionel than ever came out.
So his body was cremated. His ashes split between his parents. That's fucking weird. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
They got like custody on the weekend. All right, you got Jeffrey Ashes this weekend. I get him next weekend. Yeah. Could he stay this full week? I got plans. I can't have his ashes this week.
Yeah, they have him in a little necklace and they just keep passing it back and forth.
Right. So his apartment was demolished.
As it should be.
The city of Milwaukee tried to erase the place where the horror happened. But the shadow, that stuck around. So let's talk a little bit about the legacy. Because let's be real, Jeffrey Dahmer didn't disappear with his cremation.
No.
Instead, he became a true crime icon, a meme, a Netflix miniseries, a Halloween costume. He became shorthand for evil, and oddly, for entertainment. I mean, we're covering him, right?
Yeah.
In 2022, Netflix released Dahmer, the Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, starring Evan Peters. It racked up 1 billion views and sparked a whole new wave of obsession. TikToks exploded. People posted fan edits. Some even said they found Dahmer hot. The internet did what it does. Took something horrifying and spun it into content.
Mm-hmm.
And look, we're not judging anyone for watching. Obviously, we're doing a whole episode here.
Right.
But we do need to look at why people are so captivated by Dahmer in particular.
Why do you think it is?
Well, it's just not a fascination, it's a fixation.
Mm-hmm.
Dahmer wasn't the most prolific killer, not the most successful, if that's even a metric.
Yeah. No.
But he tapped into something darker. His crimes were intimate, perverse, and deeply psychological. He didn't just kill, he possessed. He preserved, he consumed. And there's something about the way he looked. He looked average, polite, unassuming. Mm-hmm. That makes it more disturbing. He didn't look like a monster. He looked like the guy who would help you carry your groceries. He didn't even seem scary, and that's what made him terrifying. His victims were almost all queer men of color. Most of them lived in poverty. Many were homeless or estranged from their families. Society didn't just fail them, it ignored them. Like I talked about, like the less dead, like whether it be prostitutes, minorities.
Yeah.
If it's a white popular person who was the captain of the football team, they're going to look for him.
Yeah.
And a lot of these times with these murders, sometimes when they stray off their path and they kill somebody of that ilk, that's when they fucking fall apart and they get caught. But, you know, when you're killing ladies of the night, flies under the radar.
That stands true today. I mean, that's the whole premise of everything, kill prostitutes, kill a homeless. That's how they get away with it.
And again, the cops. Fuck the
Mhm.
police coming straight from the underground. Neighbors reported screams, smells, saw drug bleeding men escaping Dahmer's apartment, bleeding from the anus.
Yep.
As well, Conrack Synthesone, 14 years old, was
Yeah.
handed back to Dahmer by police.
Yeah.
Just because it was a lover spat and was killed an hour later. Like, it's just...
Well, he had a criminal record.
Exactly.
All that,
Exactly.
It wasn't like he was some unknown whatever. He's been known by the police for a while.
And like I said, he was intelligent. He was able to talk his way out of this shit.
Yep.
I want to say his first kill, the hitchhiker,
Mm-hmm.
Hicks, I believe it was, he had the body in his car.
Oh, when he got pulled over, right?
And he got pulled over.
Yeah.
And the fucking cops, he was probably fucking hammered too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I thought the same thing. I'm like, he's probably drunk. Surprised he didn't get like a DUI or anything. And then they didn't catch the body in the car.
Yeah, it's insane.
Oh, just bad trash.
Exactly. The media barely covered the victims at the time. Police were indifferent at best, openly homophobic at worst. And when the case broke wide open, the headlines focused on the killer, not the people he destroyed. Even today, many people can name Jeffrey Dahmer. But how many can name any of his victims?
Yeah, you could say that with any serial killer. It's a sad truth to it.
So let's change that in remembrance of Stephen Hicks, Stephen Toomey, James Dockstetter, Richard Guerrero, Anthony Sears, Raymond Smith, Edward Smith, Ernest Miller, David Thomas, Curtis Straughter, Errol Lindsay, Tony Hughes, Conrack Synthesone, I'll never get that right. Sorry, buddy. Matt Turner, Jeremiah Weinberger, Oliver Lacey, and Joseph Brandhoff.
Mm-hmm.
17 lives, 17 families, 17 stories that deserve more than being footnotes to a killer's highlight reel.
Very true.
And that is the story of Jeffrey Dahmer, which, again, it's a horrible story. I do believe he could have been helped.
Mm-hmm.
It's not taking away from the fact that he's a monster. The cops should have been better. I know it's early on, and police work definitely wasn't what it is now. And saying that...
That doesn't say much.
Yeah.
Sadly,
And that gives a bad name for the good policemen out there. Because there are good policemen
100%.
out there.
Yeah,
but,
definitely.
I mean, I'm not a huge fan of police. They could have caught him and saved at least 7 to 8 people.
Oh, easily. Got him some help. Yeah.
I think if he had gotten some help, some therapy, he could have came out as a gay man, where it's, definitely more accepted nowadays. I just think society, his family, his mother and dad definitely dealt him a bad hand.
Wasn't good, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
You can't just leave your 18-year-old kid to do whatever the fuck he wants.
Right, and not expect anything bad to happen there. That's silly.
I mean, this dude's taking not feral pigs. What are those when they dissect the pigs?
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
He would take those home from dissection class and keep the skeleton of pigs, and when your kid's dissecting animals and shows an interest like that, he's not going to be a funny, wacky taxidermist.
But he likes the sound of animal bones.
Yeah.
Yep. You ever go to Milwaukee?
I have not.
Oh man, it's a weird place. I get it. I only went there once, and there's a venue there called I think it's the Rave or something like that, and it's haunted. It's like a 3-4 story building, and there's a pool in the basement. Apparently, some kid drowned. Back when I was touring, and we were following the Yellow Card all-time low tour.
Nice.
And so the drummer was telling us, the drummer of Yellow Card, he's like, yeah, we're gonna go ghost hunting after this show, and it's wild. Well, so after that, we went back to a hotel.
So you went ghost hunting with Yellow Card?
No, I didn't go. No,
Aww.
That was the last night I was on that tour. I was flying home the next day, so we went back to a hotel. And when I checked into my room, there was some guy just laying in the bed, and I had to go back down to the desk and be like, I think you gave me the wrong room. And they're like, no, it's definitely the right one. I'm like, well, I need another one because there's some guy laying in the bed.
Yeah, give me another room. It's Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah,
Hey,
it might have been. I mean, yeah. So that's Milwaukee for you. It's an interesting place.
So next time on Pizza Bones, we have a special guest, Kate from Down Under.
Nice. Oi, can I do that?
You can do that.
Ooh,
You just
oi.
did.
I did it. Let's do it again. Oi.
So we're gonna have a special Australian Pizza Bones edition, and I'm gonna be putting up a poll, and it's gonna be Jessica Camilleri, Bradley John Murdoch from Wolf Creek, or what's it called? Something Creek. I think it's Wolf Creek.
Okay.
That's the movie that it's based on. Ivan Milat, The Lind Cafe Siege.
Yeah, I have no preference. I'll do any of those are good.
Yeah, so I'm going to put that poll up, and then we'll see who comes out on top. And we're going to get that ready for you guys. And we hope you enjoyed this Jeffrey Dahmer episode. Do you have anything else to say, Nate?
I just have one pizza-related question for you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, have you tried Domino's stuffed crust yet?
I'm not a big stuffed crust guy.
Oh my god.
Is it good?
It's good. It's so good.
Really?
It's so good. Yep.
No shit. Well, that's news to me.
Well,
I'm not going to believe you because Domino's sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge Domino's fan, but I gave it a go, and I was pleasantly surprised because I don't really like Pizza Hut. I think it's too greasy.
Yeah, Pizza Hut
but
fell off.
I do like the stuffed crust, so
okay.
I had to try to get the fix in.
Domino's is definitely improved, so
yeah, yeah.
But that's all we got for today. So again, we rep the You Run Podcast Network, where you can find all our shows and all the other shows at yourunpodcast.com. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Pod, YouTube, and all things podcast platforms. Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky. Give us a follow. Give us a review. If you could help us out giving us a review, that would be awesome. If you can give us 5 stars, we would appreciate that so much. If you want to check out our Patreon for just $1, you can get episodes up to a week early. And for a couple more bucks, you can suggest an episode, and we'll do it. Like we did the director discussion episode.
Even though you missed my favorite directors. But
yes.
That's all right. That's okay.
We took a lot of heat from that. We missed a lot of directors.
Yeah. It was a good episode. I mean,
it could be a part. We could have a part 2 as well too. My excuse was we didn't have Seamus, so we had 2/3 of the directors. We were missing that 1/3, you know?
That'll do it.
So
let's smuggle in some directors there.
But until next time, remember, in Crust, we trust. Pizza Bones!